Here's how I like to trade 1, 2, 3 top reversal patterns. In this circumstance, I'm on a very, very small time frame chart. And in this, it's going to be more like a scalp move, but it's the same exact strategy, whether you're on a large time frame chart or a small time frame chart. And sometimes I'll see a large time frame reversal pattern setting up and then go down to a small time frame like this to be more precise with entry. Here's a trade that I took end of the day using this intraday trend line. You can see I also have the last two higher highs marked. Those are the horizontal lines. Now that price is breaking the trend line, I'm getting ready to mark the bottom of this candle that is breaking that trend line. And then I'm going to mark the bottom of the candle that breaks that candle's bottom. Now I'm going to place a limit order for just one contract at the bottom of the candle that broke the trend line. I like this entry because it's low enough risk for me. The stop here, which is above the highest high, was only about 4 points. In this instance, it gives me a sense that I am in the trade if it is more of an emotional downside move and it never retests the price above it or the trend line. And I'll catch the larger part of the move if that happens, and I'm okay with that risk instead of watching this big move happen if it does and then trying to chase after it. So now I'm putting a limit order for 3 contracts short near the top of this zone or where the highest high is. Now what I like to do is I like to look at the white lines in my candles here. Those are the point of control or the POCs of each volume candle. And I like to put this limit order somewhere near the cluster of POCs or just below, just in case if price doesn't work into it. And I'll do this as long as the risk is acceptable to me, where the stop would be above the highest high, which it was here. So here I have a 2-point risk if this order gets filled. Okay, so now I am filled for a total of 4 contracts. I'm going to adjust my profit target since my average is a little different now. Because this day has been very tight range, I think the range was only about 20 points, and it has been filled with a lot of really wicky action, trends that are going one way, then consolidate a little bit, then go the other way, or then continue up. And I just want to also consider that it's the end of the day. I think there's only about 10 or 15 minutes left in the day. And as you can see on the volume profile on the very right, the darker blue line, that is the point of control for this session. And I will rarely enter trades at the point of control because it's usually a recipe for disaster unless you have a very precise entry. So I'll rarely enter them here unless I have a strategy that checks all those boxes like I'm using here. But I also know that price can just kind of consolidate here and wick back and forth, and so I'm going to take profit rather quickly. On the first 2 contracts, I'm going to take profit at 2 and then 4 points, and then the last 2 contracts, I put the profit targets based on structure. All right, so there's the first profit target hit at 2 points. We'll zoom out a little bit here. Now that that first one has been taken, I'm going to set my other profit targets based on structure. Down at the bottom there, that pinkish zone is a larger time frame LVN. And here I'm moving the third profit target on the third contract a little bit higher, just considering that I think there's only a couple minutes now left in the day. And so I put it just at that small little HVN there on the session profile. And that is exactly why I was taking profit quickly. This is how the action has been today. So here I am moving the stop on one of my contracts to break even, and I'm gonna leave the other one at the -2 stop, just in case price does go down and kind of, does a nice little downside move, gives me handful points in the last couple minutes. Since I'm up now, I believe about 6 points in the trade, I'm okay with a 2 point less profit on this. I do these trades all day long, and it kind of just depends on when I like to move that final contract to break even or in profit, and when I don't. It just depends on the day, the order flow, or how the price action has looked. Today has been like one of those things where you'll see a big reversal in a small range like this, and then down to the downside for like another 6 to 8 points. So I want to be cognizant of that and, try to see that out if it can happen. But then also these little ranges have happened where then it just zooms up to the upside. So at this point, I really didn't know. I think that moving the stop on the last contract is such an individual thing. And sometimes for me, it's just how things have been going that day. Like, am I really scrounging for profit at this point? Do I just want to be green? So am I gonna keep this and put it into profit or break even? Or have I had a great day and I really could care less about 2 points loss if that gives me the opportunity to catch a little downside move? So here I was fine with having the 2 points lost if it was going to go, so I just left it where it was. So here's where you're thinking, oh great, yeah, it's going down. I like those wicks at the top. I'm gonna get my points. And this could also be a spot where you could move your stop to break even now that it's below it, if you think this is like a look above and fail, because that's what happens. And also this is where if you hadn't moved it, you could move it again to like almost just 1 point because it bounced off support within that range. Or you could just leave it depending on your risk tolerance. And you can see here I got stopped out, so it's about a net 4 points in this trade.